Hello, guys. Welcome to another episode of Josiah Agro TV. Yeah, a quick one. If you're a goat farmer, if your animal is sick, it's good to administer antibiotics to your animals. But first of all, you need to know what is wrong with that goat. Take for instance, if your goat is having diarrhea, you have to check the cause of that diarrhea before administering antibiotics. Diarrhea in goats can be caused by several factors. Sometimes it is caused by change of feed. When you change feed, probably maybe you were giving hay to your animals and all of a sudden you started giving fresh grass to your animals. It can lead to diarrhea. Bacterial infections. Hey, bacterial infection can also lead to diarrhea. Fungal infection like diseases can lead to diarrhea. Also change of feed can lead to diarrhea. So you need to know what actually is wrong with that goat before you administer antibiotics. Don't just go and start administering antibiotics randomly to your goats. Don't do that. Just make sure that you know the cause of the illness before administering antibiotics. In livestock, you need to know what you're doing. You need to learn about livestock business before venturing into it. Now, and I always say that if you're starting a goat farm, you start small and scale up gradually. Because if you jump into it, start buying a lot of animals, and you start losing those animals, you discover that the initial passion you have for this business will just go down. But when you start gradually, you start understanding those animals, you realize that you enjoy the whole process. Why? Because for instance, like goats are kind of stubborn animals. Yeah, they are stubborn animals. Like you see, when I wanted to feed them, you see some of them trying to climb on me. You see some of them trying to, they will match you past. If you're somebody that have hot temper, you may be tempted to beat these animals, but you don't need to beat them because they are animals. You understand? So you need to learn about the business. Like now, my place is, I have to create this exercising yard for them. There's a place for them where they can go and rest. Goat farming is actually simple when you understand what you're doing. Like you need to learn about their medication, learn about their feeding. Yeah, you need to learn about medication, their feeding, because if you know about their medication and their feeding, goat farming will be very easy for you. Even as somebody that is doing a 9-to-5 job, if you're doing a 9-to-5 job, you can still be a good farmer. Yes, you can still be a good farmer. What you need to do is when you wake in the morning, you make sure that you clean their house, clean their exercising yard, their feeding trough. You make sure that it is in order. Give them good food in the morning for them to eat. Keep clean water for them to drink. And in the afternoon or in the evening when you come back, you can also still check on those animals. Keep if they have their water is dirty, you change the water, because most of the times if you keep water for them, they tend to poo inside the water. They will defecate inside the water, and they will no more drink the water. And that's the reason why you see this kind of feeding trough that I have over here. With this feeding trough, goats, when they eat, they fight a lot. They fight. So with this feeding trough, you see that it is divided, it is segmented. Now if one goat put the head inside of this place, it won't be able to fight the next one eating close to it. So it will help them not to fight or distract each other when eating. And also goats, if you have a feeding trough for them, like if this place is open now, you discover that those goats, they will jump inside. If it is for rams or sheep, if it's for sheep, generally you discover that they will not enter inside the feeding trough. Most of the times they don't do that. But for goats will enter inside the feeding trough. They will defecate inside, and then the food you put inside will be waste because they won't eat the food again. But with this, they cannot enter inside the feeding trough. That's the reason for this. So as a goat farmer, you have to be innovative as well, because goat farming or farming in general is a science. So if you are interested about livestock business, you have to be innovative. Probably look for somebody that will put you through. Look for a coach if possible that will put you through how to do this from the beginning. Because sometimes if you have a goat, you discover that you can get a goat and that goat begin to get sick. what will you do? Sometimes you get scared, but if you have somebody guiding you, you discover that um you will not have any problem, because the person will tell you, okay, this thing is normal. This one, maybe you see some discharge that you don't understand, the person might tell you, okay, this one is, the goat is ovulating, or tell you one or two that you need to understand. So if you're a goat farmer, you're willing to go into livestock farming, but you don't know how to start, goat farming is a very profitable venture. It's a very amazing venture that you will enjoy the whole process. Like my animals now, I am so happy to be with them. I feel cool whenever I'm here. Yeah, when they are eating, I am here to watch them. I watch them most of the times eat, because that is when I discover, that is when I will know if an animal is feeling fine or not. Because an animal that is not feeling fine definitely will not want to eat. So you see all of them eating, shows they are healthy. Then in the aspect of feeding, yeah, in the aspect of feeding, you have to feed your goat with variety of feed. You have to give them variety of feed. Like you see, mostly what they are eating right now is a combination of beans chaff, guinea corn, um, millet, and wheat offer combined together. That is what they are eating right now. Now, sometimes I give them this feed, sometimes I give them fresh grass to eat, sometimes I give them shrubs to eat, because goats, they don't need to be eating just one particular type of food. They need variety of feed. They need variety of feed to eat. And considering the fact that sometimes I sell my animals to other parts of Nigeria, I am in northern Nigeria. Considering the fact that I send my most of my animals to other parts of Nigeria, like in the south, in the east, when I have animals like this, I tend to give them a lot of fresh grass. Yeah, because when they get to that place, to acclimatize with the environment over there won't be hard for them. Because if I keep feeding them just with all of these things, if they go over there and you start feeding them with fresh grass, you discover that they will be having issues most of the time. So I make sure that I feed them with fresh grass as much as I can. Then alongside with this feed as well, I give them. So if you look around, you see that I have here is maize. This is maize that I planted. I'll use it as feed for them. I'll use it as feed for them as well. Then if you look, if even inside this feed, there are grasses inside this maize. There are grasses, there are shrubs. If you look around, you can also see moringa, there's bitter leaf, there's scent leaf, different kind of leaves that I have over here. I give them to my animals. Most of them are medicinal. They are medicinal, but I don't give just those things to my animals. Or when my animal is sick, I tend to begin to cut those leaves for them because they are medicinal. I give normal medication to my animals. I give some of these herbs to my animals to boost their immune system, like some of these medicinal plants like moringa, bitter leaf, and the rest. I don't give it to them as medicine. I give it to them as immune boosters. Yeah. And it's not every leaf that you give to pregnant animals. When you have a pregnant animal, you have to be very careful what you're giving to that pregnant animal to avoid miscarriage. So that is what I do. They're very healthy, they eat, and I give them clean water to drink. So I just want to share this little talk with you out there. If you're thinking or you've been procrastinating about your goat farming, I want to start. I have to gather some money before I start. You can start with 2 goats, you can start with 3 goats. You don't need a whole lot of money to start goat farming. Just create a very simple structure for them to stay, where there is no rain going into their house, and where it is very ventilated, and you see that you, in a very short time, you have a lot of animals around. So if this is your first time watching my video, my name is Josiah Adoga. Thank you for watching this episode of Josiah Agro TV. See you in the next episode. Bye bye.